So podcast, I'm super pumped. I'm super excited because today the first guest, the man of honor, the one and only, my son Abe the Babe is here with us live. What's up, somebody?
What's
Look
up,
at
guys?
my handsome son. Come on, introduce yourself, bro.
What's up, guys? I'm Abraham, 20 years old, the youth director at a Life Church. My day job is electrician, and honestly, this is my life. Like just working church, and it's the best life that I could pick, to be honest.
Let's go. There's a lot of kids out there, a lot of young adults, even youth, that have single parents. I know that you and I have a relationship now, but in the past we didn't have a relationship. I wasn't always in church. I wasn't always in your guys' life, and it took a while for us to get here. But now that we're here and it's healthy, and we have seen God do some amazing things in our relationship and with our family, I feel like there's a lot of young adults out there that go through life without their parents or without the support system. What would you say to a young kid or a young adult that doesn't have the dad or doesn't have the mom supporting them and pushing them to being better in life?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like a tough question, because I could ultimately say, well, come talk to me, because I've been in that situation without having you before. I can say, you know what, I've been there with you. Let me help you. Let me show you what got me through, but for the youth today, at least for me, I think that I can make myself available and be like, you know what, you're not alone in what you're going through. Let me help you. Let me help walk you through it. I'm not saying I'm perfect or like this great leader or anything, but I have been through similar things of not having parents in certain moments, and ultimately, if I can be that kind of like mediator of bringing people to God, I have like, that'll be the coolest thing, to be honest.
Yeah. No, that's good. And I wanted to, I know you and I had conversations before, and you expressed to me that there was a point in your life when you were depressed, when you were suicidal. And I think I want to be raw in this podcast, and I want people to really understand that they're not alone, that that it's real, that people are going through depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts. And I wanted you to talk to me and tell me, what would you say to a young adult or a youth that feels that way, that they feel alone, they feel like suicide? I know that that's something so deep that we should be touching more on, that we should be conversating more of, because we are seeing our young adults time after time going through that. So what would you say to them?
Man, I mean, what can you really say? I mean, in that moment, at least for me, I really did feel like I was living at home, but I felt homeless, if that makes sense, Like,
you were living at home, but you felt homeless. That's
Yeah.
powerful.
Yeah.
So and I'm going to stop you real quick, because that's such a powerful tweet. Hey, tweet this. That is so dope. I was living at home, but I still felt homeless. And it made me think of so many of us are home, but we're homeless. What does that mean? And why do we feel that way? So explain that.
It's like, at least in my opinion, felt like I had no one to fall back on. Your home is supposed to be your shelter, where people are supposed to keep you safe, but I didn't feel safe. I felt like not an outcast, but I felt like I just was not in the right place with them at that time. Now we're all good. I feel like what I would say to someone who's feeling depressed, like we said before, me already going through it, I could say, man, let me be there for you. Like, I'm not perfect. The only person that got me through it was God, ultimately. When I think I remember talking to you this before, when I was like at Bible study on Wednesdays, when I said, I found God when I lost my life, when I was about to lose my life, if that makes sense. That's when I found God. Yeah. Not saying that those kids have to get to that level, but let me help you and show you what I went through, so that you know that you're not alone in this thing. I mean,
no, that's good.
Yeah.
No, that's really good. And it makes me think, as leaders, both in the church community and in the general community, I think that we should be more good listeners, because I feel like these young adults really need to be heard. And we're so quick to send them here, send them there, say this and say that, but I feel like they really need to be, we need to listen to them, and we need to care for that. And I think that, in case you guys don't know, we're all about church. I love church. Everything that I do is church. We have Bible study on Wednesdays. If you are watching this and if you're out there looking for a Bible study, subscribe or hit me up on Instagram because we would love to connect you. If you're a youth or you have a youth and you've been trying to put him in church, hit up my son, follow him on Instagram because he's all about the youth. But it's really good, son, to have you on here because, again, how many dads really sit down and have conversations with their sons? And we get so lost in life and work, doing this, doing that. And how many times do we really get intimate, you know? And when I mean intimate is like really hear each other's hearts.
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying too, the culture that's being built now is like people want to be by themselves. You know what I mean? People would rather be independent than really allowing themselves to like have people that really care for them. Because I feel like the world puts like this this standard of, well, you can do it by yourself. You don't need nobody. You know, go make your money, go hustle by yourself. You're good. Yeah. But bro, like, I feel like that is like the enemy's way of getting you, because the Bible talks about how the devil likes to isolate you. So once you're isolated and think you're doing good and you're like, oh, I'm making money, I'm good, really you're alone, you're sad, you know what I mean? So I think that even having conversations like this with you and me, like we've had conversations like this before, but really having somebody to lean on truly, you know, and someone that's honest and someone that's not just going to lie to you, but really tell you straight up is what we need nowadays, especially young adults, you know?
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good, man. Real quick, guys, my mind is running at 100 miles per hour, but I wanted to give it up to my boy that has made this podcast come alive, my boy Paco Camacho. Give it up for Pac. He is right here in the background making this happen. Pac, make sure you use something to make my face look clear. Come on, somebody. But yeah, so follow Pac. He's gonna be on my. I'll shoot down his Instagram for you guys if you're looking for a guy to set up your podcast or anything like that. This guy is dope. We got to give it up to our creatives. But going back to you, son, I'm gonna get really raw with you. The young adults. A few things. One, pornography. Two, we live in a world that is just so fast, and also dating and having sex before marriage. How have you done it with pornography, and how have you done it not having sex before marriage? Because this is the hard topic, and as soon as you bring this topic, everybody like walks away. Or even TikTok and all these social media platforms. Like, how do you do it?
I think it's important to understand that I feel like I've already said this before. Like, it's hard. You can't be a light if you're not living in the darkness. You know what I mean? You won't see yourself as the light. So, I mean, when it comes to pornography, I mean, the Bible talks about it's simple as just cutting your eye out, cutting your hand out. Yeah, you know, it's easier said than done because, you know, when I was younger, I you know, got into those things. But as I got older, I realized what pain it really does bring to future relationships. And ultimately, that's what creates sex before marriage. And then that creates different problems. And you know what I mean? So it all starts off with with the lust. Well, for guys, at least, you know, the lust of, then insecurities, and then people, you know what I mean? So if you see something maybe on Instagram that you don't want to see because you're trying not to do it, you unfollow, you know, or you block, or even on TikTok, there's like a not interested thing and you put not interested. I think things like that, you know, it's not like, it's not something that you can, I think, like change overnight per se, but it's definitely something that you can do, make you feel like you want to do something. You just, instead of maybe going out with that person late at night and doing whatever, you
set boundaries.
Yeah, set strong boundaries. If you're really trying to pursue purity, you know, and I think that's, you know, but you're a pastor. I feel like it's essential that we teach more of love, because sex before marriage, it's tricky, because when we understand God's love, you know, if we trust God's love fully, then things like that aren't as tempting. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, once I feel like to tell somebody, hey, you shouldn't be doing this. Yeah, you know, righteously we're supposed to, but if we don't come at it with love, then that's when people start feeling condemned. Like, hey man, like, bro, I love you. Like, I don't want to see you do this. You know what I mean? Like, how can we help? How can I help you?
And that's true though, because at church, everybody's so quick to tell you something and to point out your sin and try to label you, but they never really take time to love you, to get to know you, to call you, to text you. And I want to share this, like, because I'm so big on this in leadership. And, you know, if you want to reach this generation, you can't tell people and give them more assignments of what to do. You have to build a relationship. You know, youth pastors, young adult pastors, leaders, we need to take time to really know the people in our church, especially the young adults, man, because my wife and I, we've been helping young adults for a minute now, and we've seen it, and it's hard. And I think that you can hear from my mouth, but what better to hear from a young adult like yourself who is searching for the career, searching for the wife one day. I'm proud of you to say that you have told me that you're celibate. Is that what you call it? What do you call it?
Celibate.
Yeah, so celibate. That you're not having sex before marriage right now. And you have had sex in the past, but and there's been times that you told me that you felt bad and you didn't feel worthy or whatever. But now
But see, that's what the enemy wants. Obviously, we have opportunity to not do it. The Bible says that God always gives us a way out.
Yes.
And out of ignorance of our own humanity, we kind of just do it anyway, and we just how it is.
Yeah.
I think that it's more of really trying to be in tune with God and like really trying to not put yourself in situations like that. And it's tough because of what we perceive now as people like like how it's normalized almost to go and have sex, or you want to be with that person. How do you know that sex is good? You know what I mean? You're gonna wait. You know what I mean? That's just the kind of excuses that we make to do things like that. And obviously we have God's grace, but if we can put ourselves in position to not even get there, then I think that we should. But obviously, humans we're dumb.
It's true. That's good. And it's just so much going on for these young adults. So much. I mean, every day there's something, and I think that we need to find a way to really help these young adults, because there's a way out. Like you said, the Bible even says it, there's a way out. So tell us about, we're a blended family.
Yeah.
Well, you're my son, and just so you guys know, I'm married, happily married. I have a dope wife. She's creative. She drives me crazy sometimes, but hey, I love her.
Yeah, dope wife.
She's super dope. I have 5 children. My son's the oldest, 20. I have an 18-year-old daughter. I love her so much. I have a 13-year-old son. He's in another level. I mean, if you have a teenager, you understand what I'm going through. I mean, I have to literally call him and text him 40 million times for him to say, hi, Dad. It's so crazy. They're just doing their own thing already. And then I have Jax, which is 7. He just turned 7, and he's a creative just like my wife. I mean, this guy is crazy. And then I have Ryder. If you meet Ryder, you know why I named him Ryder. But we're a blended family. My wife now is from my second marriage. We went through a divorce with your mom, and things were tough. And when you were young, it was just so crazy. What would you have to say to somebody right now, a young adult or a youth that's going through that, through the blended family with stepdad, stepmom? How did you receive my wife as a stepmom? Even in the beginning when things were crazy, when God wasn't involved and we're all over the place. How did you do it, man?
I feel like, this is not to like throw shit on your part, but my mom really raised me with love. And essentially that's how I found God's love. We'll switch that. But I think that when it comes to blended families, like even when it came to Rochelle or my stepdad, I gave them the benefit of the doubt. Like these people love my parents, you know what I mean? Like my stepdad loves my mom, Rochelle loves my dad. I shouldn't have anything against them for doing that,
Yeah.
Obviously it's kind of tough because he's not my dad and she's not my mom, but we still understand that these people love us, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when I was younger, I feel like I definitely I was good with it, I knew that things were bad, not so much bad, but like things were tricky with you and Rochelle, my mom and my stepdad. Yeah. But I always gave them the benefit of the doubt because I knew that at the end of the day, they love my parents. You know what I mean? And then once you see the love like that, then you can be okay. Like I'm good. You know what? Like my mom is taken care of, my dad's taken care of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that for youth today, they might be going through it, or even young adults that are going through it. Just understand that there's nothing wrong with the blended family. Like my brothers, they're my brothers. You know what I mean? My stepdad has a son. He's my brother. There's no in between. I don't say, I only have a half brother. These are my half brothers. No, this is my family. You know what I mean? Like these guys they're what is it? These are blood of my own blood. Something like that. These are me. You know what I mean? So I think that just knowing that they love your mom or your dad is well, for me at least, it's good enough for me. Okay, I'm happy that she's happy.
Thank you, son, for sharing that. I think that it's important to talk about the blended family. And even in this podcast right now, we touch on some important things. We touch about pornography as a young adult, as a youth. We talked about blended families. We talked about being single and not having sex before marriage and how to get disciplined. And I think that these are questions that young adults need to ask. And we as leaders in the community need to make sure that we have an answer for, that we can walk them through the process and not so much tell them what to do, but actually, like I said, walk them through the process. You know what I mean? So thank you, son, for being here. Thank you for sharing your heart. I know that these are hard topics to talk about. But hey, podcast, this is the Livingroom Podcast. I am excited because we're about to invite some of the dopest human beings in this planet to this living room. I got some of my pastors homies rolling through. I got some of my bros that have been in the community, working the community entrepreneurs. I'm going to have my beautiful wife be one of my guests. It's just going to be awesome. I love you. Subscribe on my channel. Follow me on Instagram. Follow my son. Let's go.